Motivation. I'm motivated. But what do you do when motivation is not enough? You rely on your work ethic. You rely on your discipline. That's my mentality. Now let's get it.
The stage, please welcome Julian Peters.
What's going on, everybody? This is Julian back with My Mentality Podcast. For those listening, welcome back to my voice. For those watching, say hello to my beautiful face. I'm back again with Lindon Bond IFBB Pro, Olympian, men's physique. No, not
missed
Olympian.
Yeah.
You missed it.
I missed it.
Man, okay, so
missed about 4
that's
points.
what it was. Okay, so I followed
Yeah.
you. I followed you because I know you went on a run. Was it 2019?
2018.
18.
Yeah.
Okay. I know you went on a run, and that's when your name started kind of populating, and that's when I started paying attention to you. And you hit a lot of shows that year.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I think I ended up doing 6 or 7 shows that year.
Man.
My pro debut show was the San Antonio Pro, which was just a couple of weeks ago, and I came out the blocks running, and I won that show, which was crazy, and nobody ever thought a rookie would win it, let alone myself. I was just trying to do the best I could, and I ended up taking that show. But of course, that was the year that they changed to the point system.
That's what it was. Okay, that's why I got confused for a second. My bad, y'all. I got confused for a second, but I remember that was during the time where 2016 is when I kind of got into men's physique. When it was relatively I think that might have been Buendia's first year or second year winning the O. That's when I really got involved. Right. So I remember during your time when you were coming, I feel like Charjo was coming at
Charjo was still in the NPC when I first.
Right. So these are the people that I remember you, then I remember Charjo kind of coming up too. And there was one more guy. And the reason I remember y'all too is because y'all have similarities to me. Not physique wise, it's just I would confuse y'all sometimes.
Okay.
Stage, you know what I mean? So that's why. So I remember that. But so what's the plan moving forward now? Let's get that going now.
It's time to grow. So taking some time off. This year was a big transition year for me. I just got out of the military in May. So I used some of that downtime that I had during that transition period to kind of get ready for the season. But ultimately, things have changed since, over the last year when it comes to men's physique. And so it's time for me to catch up on some of those changes in order to stay competitive. I was able to crack, top 10 a couple of times, but ultimately, the same feedback was, hey, we need a little bit more. So it's time to take some time off, man, and bring that. So,
I'm really interested to see what they do with Kaiki this year. Because I feel like that might determine where men's physique goes. Not that I think he'll win, but that kid is massive right now.
Yeah, Kaiki's, man, me and him, we talk, off and on, man. And every time he sends me a picture, and I'm just like, wow, man. It's crazy, man. And a lot of muscle, man.
If he's a top 5 guy this year, then I'm like, where's the division going? Because I've already thought that Chiron is really bubbly.
Yeah,
he's a top 3 guy now, and Brandon I've always thought was bigger than a lot of other people. So it's like you said, we kind of see where the division is trending up to. But to me, if Kaiki hits that top 5 or top 3, top 4, it's time for everybody to get bigger, man.
Pause and consider, man. We gotta figure this out.
So, for sure. So what got you into bodybuilding? What was kind of that step?
So it's actually kind of crazy because and it actually ties into my military service. So there was a time when I first joined the military, I was gung-ho about special forces, Ranger school, all that stuff. Everybody wants to chase the glitz and glamour, of being a frontline guy. Well, it didn't kind of line up with my family priorities at that time. So I was already doing CrossFit because that was what they had us doing for training. Everybody was doing CrossFit. So I remember being in the gym and I seen this massive dude walking around the gym, and he's actually getting ready to retire. His name's Truman Ward. He's an IFBB Pro now as well.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Hey man, you ever thought about bodybuilding? Man, you got, good shoulders on you." And I'm like, "Nah, man, I play basketball and I do CrossFit. That's it." And he was like, "Nah, man, I think you might want to try it out." And took off. You know what I mean? I did a small show through IMBA back then. I don't even know if that exists anymore, but did a small show, man. It was at a small high school, dude, and that was it, man. It just took off, man. And I was like, "Yo, I'm hooked."
Yeah, that's
And here we
dope
are
though.
6 years later, man.
That's dope. So you said hoop. Did you hoop, or you just like?
So I actually played professional baseball. I got drafted out of college, TSU, Texas Southern University in Houston.
Okay.
I got drafted in 2007 and played a couple years of minor league ball. Did some independent ball, but I tore my knee up, and so that was pretty much the end of that. And when I was in high school, though, I had offers for basketball, but of course, there were smaller schools. And, back then you're like, yo, it's D1 or nothing.
Yeah.
Not even really understanding, like, yo, you just need an opportunity. You know what I mean? But I got the opportunity for baseball. So I took that. But I kept hooping, man. And so I ended up hooping on a couple of different post teams from where I was stationed at. Didn't have the time to really try out for All Army, but I played on some pretty decent post teams, man, and won a few post championships and stuff like that. So yeah, I was
flat out
decent.
athlete. You're just an athlete.
Yeah, basically, man. At the end of the day.
So it's funny. So it's funny you said that about Texas Southern. So like Houston's my second home. My dad went to Willow Ridge High School in Houston.
Okay.
So like I'm from Missouri City, like that's second home. And my little brother plays football at UTSA right now.
Got you.
So like I'll be down that way probably next year. I think he's not redshirting, but he's not playing as much. But next year it might be his time. He's a quarterback too, so it might be his time. But yeah, so I'm familiar. So what baseball? What position you play?
I was a center fielder, man. Yeah, I was a fast guy back then, man. Of course, I was about 60 pounds lighter, but but yeah, man. Dude, I was a speed guy, man. Like, if I hit the ball on the ground, if I laid a bunt down, man, if you didn't throw at least 90 across the diamond, you weren't gonna catch me. Gotcha. I was a 6'4", 60 guy back then, and it was hitting the air, I was gonna catch it, if I had enough room. So yeah. That was always my thing. I wasn't a power hitter or nothing like that. That wasn't my thing, man. I was like Juan Pierre, dude. Hit the ball on the ground and run.
I was about to say it more like a D Gordon. I know he plays second base, but like D Gordon type of guy. Where the minute he touches a base, he's a threat, though. Like
absolutely.
No matter what, first base, a double, that you better have a cannon back there.
Absolutely.
I pay attention to baseball. I wasn't a big fan, but one of the things, remember I told you we freestyle. So this is off subject, but like it's crazy to me that we don't see a lot of black guys playing baseball.
Yep.
Because we're so athletic and we would be great at it. So what is your thought behind that and what got you into baseball?
So I call it selective attractiveness, right? So we see the glitz and glam that comes from basketball and football every day. I mean? I remember growing up, man, like, your uncles come over, hey, grab a football or grab a basketball. Nobody ever said grab a baseball in your glove, you know what I mean? But then two, I look at it from a financial standpoint. Baseball equipment is very expensive. Right. You know what I mean? To play football, you only need a football, dude. Like, you don't even really need cleats. Because I know I didn't have cleats a lot of times growing up. We just in the tennis shoes or barefoot in the backyard, you know what I mean? But the cleats, the glove, the bat, the helmets, more than 5 people to play with. You know what I mean? So it's less attractive in some of these areas, especially inner city areas. But you're starting to see a slight emergence, man, because they have the RBI programs, which is returning baseball to inner cities. So I back in the day, I was able to help with some of those programs when I was active in the sport. And it's good to see these kids who might not have had that opportunity get that chance to play and at a bigger level. You know what I mean? Like they're traveling around just like some of these other travel teams that live in the suburbs. And it's good to see those people who are talented, not even just talented, people who want to play and love the game get that opportunity.
For sure. So I always tell, because I've had this conversation, I'm a big sports guy too. So I've had this conversation and I'm like, I think there's a group of guys in our age that we had the kid. We had Griffey, and he made baseball cool. And then if you look, there's a gap where there's not really another star like that. And what I'm starting to see now, the Tatis Juniors, even though he's like, you know, he's having fun. And I know people don't like the show, but I love that stuff personally. People don't like that, but I think if you add that to the game, that's where the glitz and glamour becomes a little bit more. Let them dudes taunt. Like I remember he taunted Bauer this year, and Bauer was like, "I don't care. I shouldn't have gave up the home run." I'm like, "Thank you. Let's not throw a 100-mile fastball at his head the next at bat." You know what I mean? Exactly. So. Yeah, I really would like to see the game of baseball continue to grow in the inner city. So it's cool that you did that. Sorry, I know it's a left turn, but
nah, man, it's all good. It's a part of me, dude. Like, you know, I sit there and I laugh at my kids because you know, I got my tattoos and brands and stuff like that, and I have MLB status on the inside of my arms.
Yeah,
and my kids are like, when'd you get that? Oh, when I was playing baseball. Yeah. You know, like they were like, because they missed that. They, you know, my oldest got to see it. But you know, my oldest two got to see me play, but my younger two didn't get to. So they don't understand that part of my life. They just see some of the pictures, or they'll see like my jersey hanging up, and they're like, oh, like my dad really did play baseball.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Hold on, don't maybe get these clips. Youngsters sit down, we can watch. No, it's crazy you say that too, because I just moved out to Arizona in June. I'm literally right by the spring training.
Okay.
It's like across the street. So next year, but I'm gonna be at all them joints, just like try to see the stars, see what I can. Because I've been to one baseball game, and that was a Rangers game because I'm from Oklahoma. Yeah. So that was close. But other than that, there wasn't an opportunity to go to a whole bunch of stuff where we were at in Oklahoma.
Yeah, man.
So dude, I'm excited about that.
Take advantage of it, man. You won't regret it, man, because that's where you get to see the young guys who are coming up, man, who, you know, their names haven't made splashes yet, but, you know, 2 years, you'll be like, oh, yeah, I saw that guy playing, you know, down the street. And so it grows like that, man. Sure. So, yeah, definitely.
For sure. So getting back into bodybuilding, what was men's physique always the division for you? Were you thinking a different one, or?
Oh, no, because, you know, there was no classic back then.
Right.
And there was no way I was going to be, you know, in the draws, man, you know, as they say, like, nah, that wasn't me, you know. I didn't have that comfort level or that confidence level to get out there like that. But yeah, men's physique was brand new, man. And that was something that, like, yo, I could put on a pair of swim trunks. That's cool by me, you know. So yeah, men's physique was always for me.
For sure, for sure. So same here. I'm an amateur guy. I haven't competed in a while. I should have been done this, but I'm lazy and fat and I eat. And my coach is Ryan Hinton, and he'll tell you the same thing. So when I started, like, men's physique had just started. Like the first winner I watched on, you know, Mark Anthony.
Mark, yeah.
And I remember, like, even then, I wish I had my old Facebook, but I remember even then I was like, yeah, Mark Anthony, cool. But I'm like, but this Buendia dude is crazy. Like,
yeah.
And then he goes on his run. It's crazy to see how the division has continued to elevate it and grow. So where do you, what is your ultimate goal within the division?
Oh, man, of course. You know, everybody wants to be on that Olympia stage, man. That is the ultimate goal. I was able to check one off, and that was being on the Arnold stage. So I was able to do that, man. I got 8th at the Arnold, and that was, you know, that was a blessing to be able to not only be there, but to be in the top 10, you know. Right. So the Olympia is the pinnacle. That is the Mount Everest. So, you know, we're steady climbing that mountain, man. And, you know, hopefully, you know, God willing, I'm able to, you know, ascend that. So
think it next year?
Yeah, I definitely, I think I'm close, man. Really, I just think I just need to nail down a couple of things. One of those being more detail in my back. My back has always been super wide, and it's actually kind of difficult for me to put on muscle in my middle back specifically. Got some imbalances going, some stuff from baseball that's still kind of lingering on in there, and there's some stuff in the military. So bringing out that definition, my middle back is kind of difficult, but taking a long off season, maybe even skipping next year, you know, we'll have to see what the plan is, but definitely taking that time to bring out those details is what I'm looking for. Like, I don't want to step back on stage and be like, oh, you need more work. I want them to be like, yeah, you're ready.
Right.
So that's the goal.
Do you go to a chiropractor?
Yes, absolutely. Save my
life. Making sure, because like so my back is my strongest feature on my physique, but I have an imbalance. There's no way you replace it. I have a lat that just inserted lower than the other one. There's literally nothing you can do about it. I didn't even notice it until somebody pointed it out to me. My left foot is like down here, my right was like a little bit higher. It's weird. But when I went to the chiropractor, the width of my back after like a couple adjustments just like expanded all of a sudden. I'm like
flowered out.
I'm like, man, so that's why I asked. So all right, man, it's good to hear that, bro. I like your physique a lot. I'm not just saying that because you're on my show, but I like your physique. You're somebody, like I said, I've paid attention to. I think that year off or not, you'll be on that Olympia stage at some point. I think that's a given. So
yeah, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah. So with the military, what branch were you in?
I was in the Army, man. Did 11 years. 11 years.
So you mentioned school, like college, right? So did you do that before the military?
Yep, I did. I did college and baseball before the military.
So how old were you when you entered the military?
I was like 24 and like 200 something days. Yeah, I turned 25 in basic. Yeah.
Okay. And that's a little bit later than normal, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I was definitely one of the old guys, man. So, being in there with all, 17 and 18-year-olds, you had a couple 19-year-olds in there, but, I was definitely one of the older guys in the barracks. And, it was different.
So what made you want to take the step towards the military? Because that's obviously, I would think, an educated decision being that age. Yeah. That ain't just I'm 18 and I don't know what to do,
Right. No, there was definitely a lot of thought that went into it. So, like I said, my baseball career had just ended. I had a young family. My kids were, running around all over the place. And I was like, I need stability. I need a constant paycheck because now that baseball's off the table, at that time, I was still doing like personal training as far as baseball was considered or concerned, excuse me. And it wasn't paying the bills. That was before the era of, $1,500 a month for a coach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was, dude, I was making like maybe $100 a session, man, and doing, working all day. And it just wouldn't add up.
Right.
So I'm third generation military. So my dad talked to me. He was like, yo, the Army's always there. And you ain't never got to worry about it. On the 1st and the 15th, you're going to get that paycheck regardless. And I was just like, yeah, I guess I'll just give it a try. And, first it started out, I'll do my initial enlistment with 4 years, and it just took off from there,
So what do you do?
Currently, or what I do in the military?
What you did in the military, not currently.
Oh yeah, I was a logistics officer. So you name it, supply chain logistics on the grander scale is what I call it. With more than just FedEx, if it comes to whether it's food, bullets, or fuel, whatever it may be, any class of supply, we moved it. And we made it happen. So, that was definitely a great time in my life. Being able to do that.
Did you get to travel any or like what?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. So I had a deployment to Afghanistan in 2015. Crazy deployment, but I made it back. My guys made it back. That's all that mattered at the end of the day. And then I got to do a rotation to Europe. So I've been to Belgium. I've been to Antwerp, as far as the cities, Antwerp, Brussels, went to the Netherlands, went all over Germany. Like, I had a good time, being in Europe, man. So,
yeah, bro, that's dope. Being able to travel, see different things, experience different things. And that's another thing that comes with the service, like those opportunities that can definitely be more incentive, I guess, for somebody to do it. I worked for a college, Grantham University, when I was in Kansas, where we were 50. It's all online. We were 50% military, so a lot of the guys would come there because we could fit their schedule, and a lot of them were wanting to rank up or stuff. So I had to learn about like Chapter 30, Chapter 33. Tuition assistance, like what branch can do this, what branch. It was a lot of information, But yeah, man, it was cool to kind of know how y'all work on that end a little bit. And like going to school can get you ranked up, or I'd literally have some dudes be like, look, bro, like just get me what I need. I just want to get ranked up. Like I don't care. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, well, let's get you
let's get you in there then.
Let's just get you started. So yeah, it's crazy. So what's some of the things that you learned in the military that you use, not just in bodybuilding, but in life, that you've been able to kind of correlate?
Dude, I think ultimately, like, the number one thing is battling adversity, being resilient, because, at the early point in my life, man, I hadn't really experienced a whole lot of adversity. And some things that I did, it just kind of, melted with time, I guess you could say. But being in the military, man, like, things change at a drop of a hat, whether you lose someone or a coworker, or things change with a mission, man. Like, and you got to basically, all right, throw the whole plan away. Let's come back together. Let's figure this out, And so being able to be resilient enough to come back from those hard times, man, that's definitely something that has worked in my life, worked in bodybuilding. Like, shoot, man, I've had millions of conversations with people about resiliency alone, because not many people understand that, life happens, and it's okay to be upset. It's okay to, be sad, mad, etc. But how are you going to come back from that situation? What are you going to do different? What are you going to do to make yourself, or help yourself in that situation to be better? Right. That's, whether that's getting, mental or emotional help and support, whether that's getting back in the gym and doing some extra pull-ups, taking extra jump shots in the gym, whatever it is. It's all about resiliency, man. And I said that was the biggest thing that I learned in the military.
Being resilient. Okay, so let me ask you this, and this is another left turn. So, like, with the way that the world has been the last 3 to 5 years, I know you're talking about socially and everything, and you being a Black man who fought for his country, who served for his country, how do you feel about how the world looks at, I guess, the social climate? Right. Yeah. Because I feel like you've experienced both. You've been a Black man, but you've also served this country. So, like, your opinion to me is more valid in that sense. Where a lot of people get upset. You don't know, like, you know what I mean? So that's why I asked.
Yeah. No, I definitely understand the question, man. And I would say it varies. It varies on where you're at, of course, as well, because being stationed around military towns like Lindon, it's a melting pot. So, you have those that are sympathetic, that you would never think would be sympathetic to the ideas of what's going on, being stopped, when you're out, like, hey, are you okay? Like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, well, this stuff is going on, and, I just want to let you know we're standing with you, we support you. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, thanks. You wouldn't expect it. But I think that's just part of the military community, because you have issues of color, of course, just like with any organization, but we don't harp on those. Like, that's not something, like, I don't care who you are. If you're on my left or my right, male or female, whether you're, lesbian, gay, trans, etc., I don't care. I got your back as long as you got my back. And I think that's important. And I wish that the world would have that view on, being there for, one brother, one sister. Like, if we treat each other with dignity and respect, man, we would get a whole lot more further than what we are now.
I agree. It's crazy that we're still, I say we're still, but like a lot of the stuff that we went through really wasn't that long ago. When I say we, I'm talking about like our grandparents' stuff. 60, Absolutely. 70, like it really wasn't. There's still people that were alive then that are alive now. But I agree, man. I think a lot of what's missing is respect and just communicating properly. People don't want to, and social media is part of the reason, because now, like, people don't want to hear sides or understand perspectives and be empathetic. They just want to say, no, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah.
You're wrong. And like, that's where, if we can communicate better and respect each other, I think our world would get along a lot easier, man. I really do.
And I think to kind of piggyback on that, man, it's okay to respectfully disagree.
Yes.
And that's where I think the biggest thing is because I may have an opinion on something, you may have your opinion, And just because we're not on the same level, don't mean that, oh man, forget you, man. I'm gonna block you, cancel culture, da 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 da. Like, bro, we just disagree, man.
Right.
Like,
I even told somebody recently, like, I don't care if a person's racist. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, that don't affect my day at all. I'm like, if you don't disrespect me or my family, you can think whatever you want over there. Like,
absolutely.
that does anything to my energy. And I know we're going through some things, but I think a lot of that too, is this worth my energy? I think people need to understand that. Like, every day, is this really worth me being upset about because this person says something? No, like, probably not.
And will that energy do anything?
Right.
That transfer of energy that you just gave them,
right?
Is it gonna affect them? Is it gonna, make them think different? Probably not.
And I'm telling you, like, a year ago, I was the guy on Facebook arguing with everybody, debating, da da da. And I just sat down one day and I'm like, this is pointless. Like, I'm not really doing anything. The person I'm talking to, whether he is actually like behind the keyboard, like, okay, he actually making some good points, it's probably not gonna accept that. And we just end up mad. And I'm like, yeah, I'm done. Like, this I'm done. So
I get it. I get it all the time, man. I think being a military dude, I've grown up. I mean, I think it's kind of inherited. You kind of grow a fascination toward, firearms. Like, I've been carrying them for the last 11 years, dude. I love firearms. I'm all about 2A, et cetera. Like, I can't even begin to tell you how many conversations I have about 2A in a week where people are like, oh, just ban guns. That's not going to stop anything.
No, not at all.
It's not.
Not
like,
at all.
I'm sorry.
Hey, I'm actually on the opposite side. I say give everybody one. Like, if I'm walking down the street and I know that 60-year-old lady probably got a pistol in her purse, am I as likely to just run up on her and try to take it from her?
Absolutely not.
That's how I feel. Not. Like, I've always felt that way. And I'm not no big gun person either. But I'm from the country, and in the country, everybody got one. So you know what I mean? So, like,
but that's a whole nother rabbit hole, man. We
we ain't gotta go there. But no, I just that's a good one though. So with the military experience, what is something that you feel like you took from there that you actually put in bodybuilding, that you use in bodybuilding?
Man, it's that no quit mentality. And it's still a flaw. It is absolutely a flaw.
Okay.
Like, you have to literally break me in half to get me to stop.
Right.
Ashwin Lucas is one of my best friends in bodybuilding, man. We met at our pro debut, which was San Antonio. We've been best friends pretty much since then. And literally, me and him have had feuded arguments over, hey man, you're tired. You need to take a break. Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna go do some more cardio. Like, bro, sit down. Nah, I can't. Like, that is me. There's just, never quit, as one of our key values, man. Like, you literally have to, like, force me to sit down.
Right.
And I think that was what, kind of happened with San Antonio this past couple of weeks, along with the passing of my aunt. Like, it forced me to sit down. Right. It's like, all right, I need to time to kind of pull back, start looking at some things a little bit differently. So, that I think that's the biggest thing, and that's the flaw to it. But I know that I have definitely grown from having that mentality of, hey, you can't stop,
right.
you can't quit. Like, there is no such thing as quit. And, that's definitely pulled me through a lot of preps where, I'm dealing with stuff at work, dealing with stuff at home. The kids are running around crazy, and it's like, I don't feel like going to the gym this morning. Nah, get your butt up, go. So I would say that would be the biggest one, man. That ain't no quit me, dog.
That's good though. It's crazy because like I don't think people realize just because you're an IFBB pro doesn't mean like life is straight and you making money from subs and stuff.
Nah, man.
A lot of people don't understand. Like, a lot of these dudes got jobs, like they got families. Like, it ain't just I wake up, eat, go to the gym. Like, that's maybe the top 5-6 guys, maybe top 10,
maybe. Like, like, even then, most of those guys, they do like personal training and stuff on the side. You know what I mean? Like, shoot, I know Ant Gilks, man. He's a personal trainer in New York, man. And that dude, like, when I'm getting up to go to work, he's finished, he's finishing 2 or 3 clients already. And then I'm talking to him at night and he's like, yeah, man, it's time for me to train. Like, dude, you just pulled a 18, 20-hour day. Yep. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely, man. It ain't all sunshine and rainbows, man. Unfortunately, we all can't be like, Dre and all those guys that, basically live off of bodybuilding, man. We gotta, not saying that's all he does, but some of us are have to work that 9 to 5 grind. Right. And the side hustle.
Yeah.
In order to be out here.
Yeah. And the side hustle. I feel you. I don't have kids right now either. So I know once that does happen, this back here is done.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm reckoning it in on that. So all right, bro. I don't want to hold you too much longer, but let me ask you this. What's your prediction for top 5?
Hey man, all right, no particular order because I can't ruffle too many feathers. But yeah, definitely got Brandon, Ray, Dre, Kyron, and then that 5th spot is a little shaky, man. I think it's a mix between Kaiki and Andre. I think that's gonna be the mix up for that 5th spot. But we all know, man, like, dude, you got some guys that are coming in, man. Like I saw GB training the other day, and
he looked kind of big, bro. I was
like hold on, he looked different, man. Yeah, and I was talking to Ben Quill, bro, and I said, look at GB's face, bro. I don't think I've ever seen him that dug in.
Yeah,
like or in a minute. It's been a minute since I've seen him that dug in. So you never know. GB may come with some fire, bro, and slide into that top 5. It's possible. You know what I mean? Like he's an OG vet, man, that knows how to put in work. And I've seen he's been working with Mike. Mike's a good guy, man. I know he's gonna have him ready. So yeah, man, I think it's that 5th spot is actually a little bit more open than most people think. Yeah. But I think that top 4, that's locked. That's not going anywhere.
I'm in the same way. I actually said this. I was talking to my friend on live. I said the same thing. I said I think the top 5 basically stays the same. The only person is, to me, Dre and Kaiki, whether or not Kaiki gets in front of him. I personally think that if Andre Ferguson comes 100%, he can't be beat.
Yeah.
But he's just, for some reason at the O, he's never come 100%.
Right.
So I'm interested to see if that happens. If he does, then they would switch. But I know, we pretty much know, there's a couple of things I've looked at. We pretty much know Ray is always going to be there. So, like, if anybody's off, Ray is like our Dexter Jackson.
Yeah.
If you're off, I'm taking your spot. So, like, know that already. And I think Kyron is the same way as far as, like, he's right there on the cusp. What I've paid attention to, and they said at the press conference, the year that Brandon won his first O.
Yeah.
If you look at the next year, he was like 7 weeks out and was basically stage ready.
Yeah.
He did the same thing this year.
Yeah. He peaked early. Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing, bro. Like, that's a lot to hold on to for that long and get on stage. Then you're going to have the stresses and everything. So that's the thing I'm really paying attention to. If Brandon comes off, and if it does, then I think he has to link it to the fact, bro, you be too ready. Like, way
too ready, man. But you know what? I think it's because he has that opportunity, man. Like, to hey, I'm just gonna keep getting better the whole year, and I'm just chilling.
Yeah.
And when you remove some of those stresses that most of us have, man, your body tends to flow a little bit better.
Right.
So I'm sure that's maybe even a little different for Neil to kind of manage, because not that I haven't followed a lot of Neil's other clients, but as far as like the top client, like he doesn't, I don't know if he has too many that just sit around and just bodybuild.
So the one person that Neil he has 2 guys. Wait, no, he lost them, but Flex Lewis.
Yeah, Flex. Yeah.
That's the one person that I've known Neil for being. And then he had Bonac, but they kind of split. But
right. I remember
Flex
that.
Lewis, even Flex had some times where he won the O, but he wasn't his best. He's just better than everybody. Like, so his 90, 88% was still better than everybody in the 212. So that's what I don't think Brandon has that opportunity. So that's what I'm really like.
Yeah, men's physique is way too close for that.
No,
you come in to smidge it off.
And Point proven was Dre last year. Like, and I think you honestly could argue Dre could have finished a little bit lower than that. He was off. And I'm like, that's my favorite competitor. He was off. So yeah, man, it's I love our division, man. I love the fact that it's competitive. I love the fact. I wish they would have did more at the press conference today. That was so damn whack.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Don't get me started, man.
I was so mad. I'm like, and the person who I thought would kick it off was Dre, and he was just like, "We'll see you Saturday." I'm like, "Bro, you supposed to be the main one talking. Like you always talk." So, but yeah, man.
I think Dre has kind of taken more of a laid back, humble approach lately.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I think he's getting back into that. I'm gonna work more than I'm gonna talk.
Yeah,
and everybody loves excuse my language, a shit talker.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think he kind of hit that point to where it's like, nah, I'm gonna show you better than I can tell you.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to see that. I'm ready to see that.
Me too. Like, and to me, that's what Kyron has always been.
Yeah.
I don't even really hear from Kyron or like see him on social media much. And then he gets on stage and it's just like, God, dog, bro. Like you big as hell, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, man. Yeah. Cool as the other side of the pillow, man. One of the best dudes that I've met on the circuit, man. Like he's just a quiet dude, man, but once you know him, he kind of opens up a little bit, you know what I mean? But yeah, I got to compete with him in Pittsburgh a couple of years ago. Then we did the Arnold, and then, everything was cool. Like, oh shit, what's up, bro? Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So
would you say the community like that is like that in general, or is it a little bit more split up?
No, man, I definitely think it's more of it's more inclusive than other divisions.
Yeah.
But I do think that there is a certain point of paying dues in order to be in that conversation.
Right.
I remember this point, and this probably be one of the last things I say. When I did the Arnold, I'm sitting there with Ashwin Lucas, Dre and George are sitting in front of me, Raymond's sitting across from me. A bunch of us are kind of like scattered out, sitting waiting on check-ins, And I'm sitting there talking to Ashwin, da-da-da-da. And I had already competed with George a couple of times, and George leans over and he was like, "Hey, man, that food ain't going to do nothing for you tomorrow." I said, "I don't give a damn if it's going to do nothing for me. I'm hungry."
Yeah.
And everybody just bust out laughing. And like from that point on, it was just like, all right, Lindon's cool. Like Lindon's in the group. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So ever since then, like I have conversations with these dudes. I can call these dudes and be like, "Yo, I got a question," or "What do you think about this?" But some of these younger guys, and not to like pin anyone in particular, but some of these younger guys almost come in feeling entitled. Like, "Oh, I won overall at nationals." Bro, that doesn't matter anymore. Like, you're a pro now, you know what I mean? So you got to reassert yourself. And but some of those guys will bring that attitude into the show. And it's like, all right, dude, cool, come on. Come on over here, And, after they, some of them get humbled or they get humbled down the road. And then it's like, oh, okay, I understand where I messed up at. And then it's like, yeah, all right, you cool, come on.
Right.
Come on in.
Yeah, that's what's up. So George is actually one of my partners. He helped me with some posing. I talk so much shit to George, bro. Like, he do the same to me.
Yeah.
Like message me. But so yeah, like George was like, I've been able to call George and ask him, like, how do you balance this in life?
Right.
And he like talked to me for like 30, 45 minutes like it was nothing, bro. And I was just like, bro, that's an Olympian. Like, I know, like, that's a big deal. But he was like, bro, I got time, dog. This is what I do. You got to do this. I'm like, yo, I appreciate that more than you showing me how to pose, bro. You just helped me with like life tips.
Life,
fact. But yeah, man, but that's dope, bro. And I'm going to go ahead and close it now, but I'm really excited that you joined it. Like, this was a cool conversation. You're a cool dude. I appreciate your service. I'm gonna say that here too. Thank you for serving and being in the military and fighting for us. I know I don't have the heart to do that, so I appreciate you for being that guy for us, man. But is there anything else you want to say before this closes?
Hey, man, I just want to tell everybody, man, thank you. First of all, thank you, Julian, man, for having me on, dog. I appreciate it. But, everybody, just, remember what's important, man. Family first, man. Everything else can be by the wayside, dog. Everything else will work itself out, man. So take care of your family, take care of your kids, man. Tell everybody you love them, man. So tomorrow's not promised.
Big, and we just saw that recently. I would like to go ahead and do an RIP to George Peterson. That
for sure, man.
Took our world, but it really is not promised tomorrow, man. So for all those listening, thank you for listening. For all those watching, you got to see two beautiful faces.
Hey,
pause. Two beautiful faces. So tune in. Like I said, we'll be on Apple now. We're on Spotify, and then you'll be able to watch this on YouTube if you need to. We appreciate the support. Y'all have a good one.